Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. As always, I'm still Rosa.
Well, I'm still Shannon. Why do we think that's so funny?
No, I just think it's kind of cute.
Okay.
Not that you all do not know who we are, but if this is your first time visiting and checking out Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa, we welcome you to our channel, and we ask that you continue to just watch our shows, share our videos, and don't forget to subscribe. We thank you in advance. So before we get into today's topic, well, I have to tell y'all, Sharyn and I had a great anniversary. Yay! So I have to put that out there before we go even into the other stuff.
Yes, we're still married.
So we celebrated 6 years on Wednesday. So
Thank you.
When the video aired, it was our anniversary.
August the 10th.
I unfortunately was away at a conference for work. But so when I got home, we just decided to celebrate it from that point on. So we celebrated from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then today is Sunday is when we're recording.
So we figured 4 days, 5 days is enough.
Yes.
Okay,
so we had
good.
a great time. But outside of what I showed you all, what Sharyn got, a little tattoo.
Can you see it?
Yeah. I had to get us, outside of some other gifts, I had to get us some mood rings.
Isn't
Show
that
your
cute?
mood ring. So we both got mood rings, because I like to know what kind
It's
of
so
mood.
1970, but it's
But
so
it's
cute.
fitting for today's topic, and I'll get into that a little later. But before we even, but thank you to those who wished us happy anniversary and
We
reached
appreciate
out to
it
us in every way.
And your
We
kind
do
words.
appreciate
Your
it,
very kind words. We really
Some of you
do.
all we haven't heard from in a minute reached out, so we appreciate that, and some of them we hadn't heard at all from. We appreciate you for that. Now we need to get into shout outs. Let's do shout outs. So our first shout out goes to Diamond Kitty. Thank you for being a subscriber to Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. Secondly, we have Vincent T. We appreciate you, all of what you do with sharing our videos and also being a subscriber.
Thank you very much.
And we have Nadine R. Thank you, Nadine, for being a subscriber to Conversations with Sharyn and Rosa. We appreciate
Nadine.
all of you all, and I get excited when I have to do the shout outs, because I just feel like it connects us to you all a little bit better. And sometimes when I give you a shout out, I may not have ever heard from you, and then you hit us up with a hey,
thanks for the shout out.
We appreciate you are still there. We're still there. So anyway, when I say our mood rings
Ding.
are fitting for today's show, today's topic is checking in. So,
Checking in.
You might need to know what type of mood your boo is in to be checking in.
And also realize what mood you're in.
Exactly.
Before you even check in.
Wear your mood ring. No, I'm just kidding. So today's topic is kind of a subject that we've touched on already when we talk about checking in. But we just needed to revisit it. Sharyn and I are always having conversations, and honestly, a lot of our conversations is more political than anything. But we hate to come to you all with political stuff
lately.
But we're gonna start, because there's some stuff that I need to get off my chest. But that's a whole nother topic. But today we're gonna be talking about checking in, and we wanted to revisit. So you may hear some of the same stuff, but we wanted to go a little deeper,
right?
Than we did before. So you want to start out with checking in and what that means
and
for
us.
Okay.
And it sounds so very simple, you know what I mean? Well, I check in because, like, you here, I'm here, I see you, you see me. No, I mean really taking a moment, because the world has gotten, the rhythm is incredible. The world is, I do believe, spinning out of control. Just look at the news for 15 minutes and you're like, oh my goodness, we're doing it. So, in our own worlds, the little space that we claim for ourselves and the space that you share with your partner, your lover, your honey, your sweetie, it's important to just, whoa, wait a minute, just check in with one another.
Yeah.
And like I said, everything's right now just seems so out of control. The only thing we know for sure, for sure,
For sure,
is
for sure.
is that there is a God. That's the only thing I can tell you that we know and feel for real. Everything else is not so much. All right. So what do we mean with that? We Rosa and I, we have very dynamic schedules, or her more than mine, because all of what she does, and she works every day. I'm totally impressed with that. I not so much on the working thing, though I have a dynamic schedule doing whatever it is that I do, having fun, taking care of my plants, walk the dog, and throwing it at 2 emergency casino runs per week. Emergency. No, but seriously, just to take the time to check in with one another. We think just because you're living with your sweetheart and y'all see each other every day, you still may not know what's going on in her mind. What matters the most in her heart. And it's funny, even with us talking about it, don't mean that we have really reached a full understanding. So here we go. For example, y'all know, for people who've been looking at the show from day one, and we've done over 100 videos, let's say about 110 videos. Y'all know what we do, you know what we whining about. And yes, we just had a 6th anniversary, but in our mind, we really haven't had a honeymoon yet. Okay, so and I want to, so in event, so every now and then I just, I throw my cards on the table like, we still haven't had a honeymoon. You done been to Europe, you done took the kids here and here and did, but we haven't had, we've been on the cruises, but we haven't had our romantic honeymoon in my mind, right? So I've been, blah 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 to her every now and then, and I wanted to go back to Hawaii. I used to live in Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I love the energy there. Part of my spirit feels so rested there. And I kept feeling that Rosa didn't want to go. I know she wants to go on a honeymoon, but she didn't seem like she was making enough movement toward that. Because, you try to take care of everything else and everybody else, and you're a mama, you're a friend, you're a cousin, you're a daughter. We take care of everybody else, and I always say feed yourself first. So time has passed, and I keep circle back. When we're going on our honeymoon. But when we're going on our honeymoon, and I don't mean just a 3-day weekend getaway. Well, make a long story short, I'm thinking that Rosa is pushing back and doesn't want to go. Not that she doesn't want to go on a honeymoon. She didn't want to go to Hawaii, and that wasn't it at all. It wasn't it. When I really talked to her, take the little scarab off and get behind what, the curtain, what's really going on. She knew I had lived in Hawaii before, with someone else and all that. That was long ago history.
With your girlfriend.
Right, okay. And the other girl too. But
and the other one.
But that wasn't her pinch. She said, let's go someplace where neither one of us have been before. Yeah. And make even newer memories.
Well, someone did make a comment about that, because we had mentioned it before, and they were like, go there and make new memories.
That's
doing
right.
New things. And
right.
I can understand that too, and I'm not pushing back on it. So
right. And remember, there's not 5 islands, there are 8 Hawaiian islands, even though we only focus on 5, and a lot of people only focus on 1 or 2, Oahu and Maui, but there's Molokai, Kauai, Lanai, blah, 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 blah. So the bottom line is, yeah, we're probably going to wind up going to Hawaii and make new memories, probably go to a different island and just have a ball, because the important thing is long as we're together. Mm-hmm. Hell, I can go to Balboa Park, what is the zoo, and just have a wonderful day with me. It don't matter what we do as long as we're doing it together. Right. So bringing that back to just checking in, I wanted to make sure that I hadn't run away with my thoughts, and I'm thinking she's giving me pushback for not enough good reason for me. It wasn't that at all. So I just had to check in with my sweetie and see what was really going on with her thinking. Mm-hmm. And that's a very simple example, but when we say check in, you need to be checking in with the physical, the mental, the spiritual. How are you doing? And how is your wife doing? So I'm not. Oh yeah. Let's not forget financial too.
Yeah.
Real world stuff. Because oftentimes, if she's like breaking her neck and going over to the east, and I'm breaking my neck doing it in the west, we're still not meeting each other. But we think we have an understanding, and we don't. So sometimes you just have to slow the train down. I mean, come to a stop and say, babe, are you okay? Are you with me? Do you still feel that way about these things?
Right.
As I feel some kind of way about some things.
And once the door is open, picking back what you just said, once the door is open to check in, I mean, it's the great opportunity. I know when Sharyn and I, just celebrated our anniversary, and the one thing that we were asking each other was, would you marry me again? And that's a good time, that if something wasn't correct or right, or you felt some type of way about something, to start with that. Because once that door is open, it's like, okay, if you say, oh no, I would marry you again and I'm in love with you, and you really don't feel like that, then that is going to be more disastrous down the road.
It's coming.
But
Right.
I think it's just a time, whereas if I didn't feel like I would have married Sharyn again, or she didn't feel like she would marry me again, it was a time to really just dive into
and put your cards on the table.
Thing.
Right.
And that would have been a great time to check in. So when those opportunities, and I'm saying that to say about the opportunities that come up, when they come up, be honest. And you can't be honest with your partner if you're not honest with you. So you got to check in with you first. If you are feeling some kind of way, I've left relationships because I was feeling some kind of way. It's nothing that they've done, nothing that I think I've done. It's just sometimes that energy is not
It's just not there. It's not clicking. It's just not there.
At the beginning it was, and then for me, it's something happened, and it's like, I'm just not. I love me. I'm gonna move on, and everybody's gonna be okay, with the move on. So you have to check in with yourself first, I think.
Good point. Good point.
So.
And like I say, in different areas, where like she may be doing very well one place and I'm like hurting in the other.
Yeah.
Y'all know that, we've had some, since we've been doing the show, I've had 2 surgeries. And so my physical was like little, woo, I wasn't so sure about old girl, and, 2 shows I had to do with the bandages on. And they
Y'all
were like,
see, she's still kicking.
Look, I will not do you the courtesy of dying.
She gonna come with her arm all up, and
I'm all messed
leg
up.
all up, but she gonna still be here.
But we still got to do the show, baby. You know what I mean? But seriously, my physical was, as Rosa said, jacked up. But spiritually,
Yeah.
it helped me and brought me through. So, and talk about the stuff that y'all hate talking about too, the finances. I see more couples breaking up. Well, just like, I don't care, straight, gay, binary, up, down, transsexual.
Green,
people
blue,
are people.
it don't matter.
People are people, and we're just trying to make it work out with the people we're trying to make it work out with.
Right.
So what we're saying, with like any other couple, and y'all trying to make this thing work between the two of you. It's finances can come up and bite you.
Yeah.
I see more couples arguing about finances, and of course, if they're children, you're going to argue about or disagree with to some degree about how they raise the children. That's going to come up there. Not to mention 900 other things that's going on. You got a job, lost a job, getting a better job, got to locate. You love my parents, I can't stand your father. Your sister gets on our nerve. The children making too much noise. I think she rolled her eyes at me the other day. Whatever, all the ugly and the small stuff becomes bigger because you haven't talked about it. You've ignored it, so now it's even larger. And when you do come to check in, you'd be surprised of what she's going to say to you.
Yep.
How you doing? How the hell? It ain't no how I'm doing. You ain't doing. Just unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, because you haven't really checked in on your own wellness.
Yeah.
Or there's times when Rose and I, like I say, spiritually, she may be being pulled some way and I'm pulling a different way, or focusing on a different part of me that's very important to me, which does affect us, but most important to me. And so checking in, like I say, two simple words, but it's necessary and it's very important. I don't care how long you've been together. Life is going to throw you some challenges. 3 years ago, Sharyn couldn't count right, so we, I know way too much information, but we wind up owing some money on taxes. And right when I'm convincing Rosa that everything's okay, something came through the mail, and I was just like, "Can I count? Did I do something wrong?" And we were just we were doing the best thing we should have been doing, so we thought, for one another, and we still missed the boat. Yeah. So we had to suck it up. She took it like a champ. I took it like a champ too. We didn't like it, but we're adults, and you had to.
It wasn't that you couldn't count. It was that you forgot to put something in there.
Yeah, well, that too. Why. I'm just joking.
Yeah,
of course, I can count,
I
but the bottom line, it was a misstep. And it affected us both. So she could have just went on and start flying around on her favorite broom, and I can't believe you did that, and I'm looking at her, I can't believe you did that, because I'll pull out our historical file. Please roll that footage when Rosa made a mistake 2.5 years ago. But I didn't got to go there because I trust that whatever she's doing is for the best for her and for us.
Yes.
And she trusts that what I'm doing is for the, I'm going, like I say, feed yourself first.
Right.
Because if we were to dissolve today, all you got is you.
Right.
Don't love somebody so much that you forget to put you on your own list. So, as Rosa made a point 3 minutes ago, saying when we're talking about checking in, check in with yourself first. Mm-hmm. Ask yourself, are you happy? Ask yourself, are you doing the best you can for you? Mm-hmm. Because if you ain't good for you, you ain't gonna be good for the other person either, or not as good. We're not trying to, I'm not trying to beat you guys down about it, because I know what good looks like, and I know what happiness looks like, and what how I feel when I'm happy, and I know when I'm not.
Yeah.
Most of us just don't have the courage to say it. Most of us don't have the strength to leave highly dysfunctional relationships.
Yes. Well, I think it's not necessarily the strength. Sometimes it's, you're just scared of the unknown. Not scared whereas you can't take care of you, but just scared of the unknown. Will you find somebody else? What's going on with you? That's a whole nother.
Oh, please don't even start that. Yeah, don't take that scab off. No, because I've seen people who stay together. And I'm just saying, they still together? Look, they've been raising hell with each other since 1989.
I know. And Sharyn and I were joking when we celebrated our 6th-year anniversary. Like, I wonder who's losing bets, that people put on us.
Like that won't work.
They made it to 6 years. Oh,
what?
Well, I owe you. You know what I'm saying? $50. But but checking in is very, very important. And I had this discussion, and this was a couple years ago, with a friend of mine who was like, well, no, I'll know if something's going on with my partner, and da. Most people do know, and I get that, and most people will know it, but I think they know more so in like a cheating aspect. Like if Sharyn starts changing up the way she's doing stuff, you kind of know something's going on. So, but I'm saying checking in so many other ways too, and just because you think you know something, it may not necessarily be that particular thing. But her thing was, well, we don't need to check in. And I'm like, well, when you go to work, don't y'all have like weekly meetings to check in? It's sort of like you need to know what's going on and what's going on with everybody. And that's the way I looked at it. I looked at it like, let's check in. Because, when I'm at work, we got to keep stuff on the up and up. So, you have that weekly meeting or bi-weekly meeting just to say, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm feeling, this is whatever, and be okay. Listen to your partner as you would want them to listen to you. So that's very important. And I'm not saying go down the whole list what Sharyn was talking about, the physical, mental, spiritual, all of that. You can have a weekly meeting just from one of them. In the check-in, is just, can be just 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be, a long day. Now, unless something kick off from it.
Right.
Something you weren't expecting. That might be a little longer. But mainly it's just to say, how you doing? Let's just check in,
Yeah.
It's check-in time. Ring a bell. Do something to let the folks know it's time to check in. Really check in. Not just how you doing, I'm good.
Well, and I like you hit so many different points there, about, people being together and they don't even know what temperature their other partner has. Oftentimes that happens. I don't think it's because we don't want to check in or um, that we don't care. One, I just think we get so very busy with our stuff, whatever your stuff is, and your stuff, somebody else's stuff, family stuff. There's so many people, there's so many things that we put on our plate.
Yeah.
And you look every now and then and say, that don't even belong there.
Yeah.
Or every now and then, like my wife is very, y'all see us on Facebook or you see her a lot too. And Rosa's here and she's running with these people and she's roller skating, or maybe you'll see a picture of us going somewhere or whatever. And usually the comments from my people, my folks, they're like, wow, Rosa surely does do a lot. She surely be going a lot of places. Yes, she does. And that's fun for her, that's joy. I'm always invited. She can ask me to go to 5 places, maybe I'll do 2. Because sometimes some of the things that give her great funny, enjoy, I'm like, oh babe, no, I'll be with Law and Order tonight. But we also, take pieces of, I call them little rocks, and put them on our plate so to make sure that we are taking care of each other. No, babe, I really want you to come with me.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I ain't got nothing to wear. You got something to wear. So, that kind of thing. So,
right. And I have a conference coming up, and I'm like, you going? And she's like, no. And she just finally like, yeah, I'm going. Like, you can come.
She's going to be doing a lot of travel for business. So, yeah, my big butt will be right there in the co-pilot seat. You know what I mean? Let's go, baby. We got to do 300 miles a day. We want to be in Northern California for 3 days. Do I want to go to Northern California for 3 days? Well, with her, I do. You know what I mean? So you make it all right. You know what I mean? And how busy am I really?
Right.
And surely there's a casino nearby, probably within 50 miles of where we're at. Just joking, but not really. But seriously, but checking in with my wife there because it's important to her. One, I don't want her driving around Northern California by herself. Number 2, because I'm going to miss her so much. The biggest thing right now, we just got to find somebody to watch the dog, or we may take the dog with us.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's part of checking in, too, knowing what her needs are and what her rathers are and what her desires are. Like, this will make my baby happy if.
Right.
Well, you would know what it was if you checked in with her.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Sometimes we're so busy doing the physical things or I give her gifts and I send her flowers once a month and blah, blah, blah. She don't want another flower.
Exactly.
She just wants to spend more time with her boo.
Right.
As simple as that.
And then sometimes it's not even the gifts. I mean, I thought the mood rings for us, I got them at Dave and Buster. I'm like, ooh, this is so cute. Because I was
silly.
on a conference.
Right.
We were at Dave and Buster. So I was like, ooh.
So funny. And I'm like, because of my age, I remember mood rings from the 70s. But it was cute. And it's the thought that counts. And it was good.
And to have like that interaction, it doesn't have to be like these big drawn out gifts, something that only you and your partner would benefit from or giggle about or say that's cute, because some people be like, really, mood rings?
A mood ring? Well, or just
Dave and Buster's,
right? It's the thought that counts. It's the sentiment behind it. All that.
It's the fun too,
and it is fun.
Yeah.
One can make that up. Yeah, it is
and
fun.
And before I gave her other gift, I was like, I need you to put that mood ring on to see what mood
I'm in.
Before I decide I'm giving you something else.
And we found out we're both moody. Or like, so back to the, the special gift I got her for our anniversary. I'm thinking, what can I get her? And she was like, she don't need no more red bottom shoes. Well, you can't have too many of those, but
who's she talking for?
well, in any event, I didn't want it to be material, but I did want it to be. But I'm just thinking, what would make her happy? What would make her smile? What's something unusual or something I haven't given her before? And though I have threatened, and I said one day I'm just gonna come home and have a tattoo, with your name on it. She's like, yeah, right. Almost 22 years in the Navy, I ain't never get no tattoo, so I'm surely not trying to be the tattoo woman now.
Right.
Went down there and got a tattoo. And it says Rosa. Yeah. And that just blew her away. I mean, she's done. She was floored. Like, is that one of them fake tattoos that rub off in 3 days?
No, that's what my daughter has.
Yeah, no. This is a real one, baby. This is for realsies.
I told her Sharyn got a tattoo. She said,
a real one? So the point into of today's conversation is just the importance of checking in with with your sweetie, your spouse, your honey. Hell, it could be your roommate, but you do need to check in with people.
Definitely
Get their pulse,
or just normalize checking in, because I don't think we normalize that enough. Whereas, like Sharyn just brought up a great point with your roommate, with just just
people in your life,
right? A normal day of living, checking in, and be okay, with what the answer is when you ask somebody or you let them know you checking in.
And here's the problem: if you don't do it, you definitely get a check in when shit goes bad. We don't check in. And another thing, I don't want to stay at your Aunt Rita's.
You get a check up.
Yeah, and you may not like
up.
Right. Truly, you know what I mean? Because it's just like you should have known this. You shouldn't be the last one to know how your wife feels.
Yeah.
And your girlfriend. You should not be the last one to know. You should have some idea. And even when everything is quote unquote going okay, babe, is there anything else you like?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and ask that person too. When you all are coming, we go to a friend's house for a gathering or just anywhere, be like, how did you feel about that? Or how did you feel about that person? Because they may not like your best friend from 20 years that they just met. It might have been a different, clash, but I'm not saying that that's a make or break for the relationship.
No.
But it is validating someone's feelings on how they feel. So the next time, your 20-year, friend comes to visit, they can make other arrangements or do something different so you can just hang out with them, because you need to make it work. Because I don't want to end any of Sharon's friendships, and nor does she want to end any of mine.
Right.
From time, but there's
make
some
it a
friends
rub.
that she don't really
I
particularly care about.
I ain't feeling them.
Being around, and vice versa.
Rosa brought up yet another good point. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not like it's here's your report card and I've been holding back these 9 things that got on my nerves since last August. No, don't go pow pow pow. You know what I mean? We can all do that. That's a cheap shot. Y'all know that. But if you check in regularly, none of this stuff should be explosive. This is it's like I've gotten a little bit off of track with date night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like sometimes like we'll just go for a little ride, or I say, you want to come with me while I take care of a little bit of business? I said, can we consider this a date ride?
Yeah, I always say
a date night if I just pull over and get you
get you an ice cream cone this
right. Right. And she's like, no, this is not date night. Don't even try.
Just be trying to just give me any day. But no, but you're absolutely right with, just the whole checking in. And just like I said, the main thing is to be okay with what your partner is saying, because you would want them to be okay with what you're
right
saying.
And wait a minute, but first just doing it, just sharing what's going on with you, and them acknowledging it does not mean like, hey, I think this is happy news for me. It sounds like it's a homework thing. It sounds like it's a bigger rock than what I thought it was. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. Whatever. It's when you drive my car, you never wash it and you always leave stuff in it. Right. You know what I mean? Small, mundane, not no terrible, the world's going to end. But if you do it enough, it gets on one's nerve. And sweetie, did you do me a favor? I don't mind we trading cars, but would you please just take the trash out of my car? Because it makes me crazy when I get in and I see trash in my car.
Yeah.
It makes me go whoop right up there. There's that pole, and there's Sharyn going up it. You know what I mean? So whatever, it could be something so insignificant to other people, but it really torques your tits. Yes, I did say that, torques your tits. So that's when you really get mad.
But one of the things I always think about too is, now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? Because
yes,
if we check in and I say, I don't know, you hurt my feelings when you don't invite me to your friend's house or
right.
whatever it may be, will you now start inviting me to your friend's house, or will you just ignore that? It's like, you need to check in, you need to know what the temperature is, but what you're going to do with the information once you have it is going to be the big step, because we can all validate each other's feelings and understand it, but it's like, if I don't make those changes, then that cause for disaster.
Right, because next time you're going to hear it, it's going to be bigger.
Absolutely.
And it's probably not going to be as pretty, you know, and or like sometime when I'm communicating with her, like, you know, we just may be chatting about something, and then I'm like, hey, no action required. I just want to share this with you, babe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying, you know, rearrange your wardrobe and, you know, you got to get a different car. Nothing big. It's just saying, this is just how I feel about this right now. I just want to share it with you. I'm not saying to reinvent yourself. Yeah. No, because I'm not going to reinvent myself. You know, so, you know, that's what we do. We do it. It seems to work. Like as Rosa said, what do you do with the information once you have it? It's on you how you respond to it and what you do with it. You'll know when you're doing something that's effective, and you know when it's not. And that could, because, like I say, if it doesn't, you know, the rock gets bigger, and bigger and bigger. You know, I done told you 5 times about that. You know what I mean? Like, don't let the dog come in here when he's wet. And
every day the dog comes in
wet. You know what I mean? Real small example, but that's where we're at. So, not to beat it to death. We feel like she feels it is very important to check in with one another. And just because you see each other every day and y'all have every second meal together doesn't mean that you're checking in. It just means that you're present. But to be present, it means that you're here. But you don't necessarily, you got to be present when you're really plugged in, you know, emotionally and mentally, you know, to your partner. Because, you know, like, well, I come home every night. Yeah, you come home every night, you go
with
into
attitude in the other room.
You fall asleep on the couch and you leave the TV on, and next thing I know, you up and gone to work again. No, we need to chat today. Don't be so busy that you ain't got time to take care of what's really important. So, you know, as I get the feedback from like, yeah, you and Rosa be doing it. Like, you know, like one week when we went, was it my birthday? We went in the hot balloons.
And
then the next time they saw, you know, we're here. And then 2 weeks ago, Rosa's adoptive parents were here. And then we were over there at the Hotel Del Coronado. We were just zipping around and we've been doing a lot of stuff for the last couple of months. We're tired. And that's for any friends who plan on visiting. We're tired.
I mean, y'all can come visit, but just take the keys
and take the car, take the keys,
and go do your thing, boo. I'm not mad at you. I'm just saying.
Because we've been really hitting it. We've been really hitting it, and don't forget, she works full time, and I support her in that. You gonna do that? Don't get hurt now, honey. So look, enough of that. We just wanted to, you know, just share with you, you know, and our, you know, from our perspective, the importance of checking in with one another and all areas. And and the areas that we need to check in could be far different from the ones that you're in. You know, with some people that right now they can't even get their act together because they're so wrapped up financially with some stuff, or the fact that you got to get a little boo-boo out of jail, or the fact is that, you know, I'm Jewish and the other one is Buddhist. Whatever it is, you know, work on it, identify it, you know, talk about it. And also with the talk, as Rosa said so very poignantly, is that, you know, the expectation. What do you do with the information that I have shared with you? That's what's bugging me, or what's, you know, I got a little rub with that, you know? So hear each other, take the time to take the time, all right? And you'll be surprised at what you find about what's really going on with you and your partner. And we hope it's all good, because that's what we wish you every week. We're wishing you the best of all things, right? And
that's okay.
That's okay.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
And stay woke. Oh, and I got to give a special shout out to my daughter's godparents. Thank you for taking her to New Orleans this year and getting her settled in college, because Sharyn and I would normally be there this time, right? But I got some traveling to do for work. And it just didn't work out to be with her.
You are godparents extraordinaire.
So I so appreciate Sheila and Michael Donovan. Thank you.
We love you.
We love you so much. Bye.